Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is 8:30 a.m., August 30th. Hope everybody's having a good day. And let's get started. All right, let's look at the daily charts. All right. So yesterday, kind of what I expected. We have a doji put in candle. In the SPX cash market, we didn't quite hit the 50 moving average yet, but I showed you guys yesterday that the futures market did. The 24-hour charts did. And we bounced off that, right? So, not much to glean here. We're basically in between the 100-day moving average and the 50 moving average. All right. I mean, if we look at the SPY, you can see basically same thing, caught in between the 100-day moving average and the 50-day moving average, right? Let's move over to the Qs. Qs were right on the 50-day moving average, all right? And in between the 100-day moving average as well, doji candle as well, right? So we're balancing, right? Big move and we're going to balance. That's usually what happens, right? But no one knew yesterday if we were going to fall farther or what we were going to do. So the market kind of gave us, okay, we're going to take a break. We're going to balance, right? Let's look at my trusty 10-year yield, which this chart is the inverse of the SPY or the futures, the ES future S&P 500. And yesterday, yields rose. Okay, we're opening up now a little lower, down about 0.77%. We're at about 3.08%. Still high rates. Okay, so until we pull down, and then we're down in this area here, we break this trend line, you got to be on the bearish side. Okay, remember, this is a macro indicator, leading indicator. Okay, so got to keep an eye on this 10-year. All right, let's get into the market profile, and I got some stuff I want to talk about. Alrighty, let's get into this. So now the market's a little different than when I saw it earlier when I was charting. We were gapping higher, and I expected this move back down. I was almost looking to fade the open if it stayed there, but it didn't. So let's look at what happened yesterday, which is balance, right? There's not much to go into detail about it, right? But it's what I said yesterday, which was important, right? So this was yesterday's overnight session, and I said this is the market that was going to give me, I needed the market to give me some information, right? So what did we do? We basically came up, filled the gap, couldn't go into range that deep. So that told me buyers aren't strong, sellers are still here, and we kind of went back and closed here. Okay, so that just told me, all right, buyers, they're scalping probably. I mean, people are probably buying to think that we're going to move higher. I don't know, but the sellers are here now. All right, it's kind of more of a sell the rip market right now until it's not. All right, so that's what happened yesterday. Okay, now the key thing, as I always say, is in market profile, volume profile, is value. Okay, value is the most important thing. Price can fool you. Price is, I like to call it, a seductress sometimes, and you can get lulled into believing something just because something's moved for higher or lower. But value kind of keeps you grounded. Okay, so over here, the most traded price of the month is still 41.40. Okay, that's the value for the month. But then we have value for the week. Okay, and what happened was value was up here for the week. And when you need to see acceptance, okay, you need to see the market tell you, okay, prices are now being deemed as fair. You start building value out. So what happened is 40.60 now. Here, this level is the most traded price of the last week. Now this particular chart I'm in is basically 24-hour. So the RTH is almost there. That's just a rotating trading hours from 9:30 to 4, but it hasn't moved the value yet, but it will. But I look at both. But this is important because now value has moved lower. And all that means is markets accepting these lower prices. So forget about the intraday moves, right? Because value has moved lower. And when values moves lower, it just means that the market's saying, okay, these prices are kind of where we're at right now. I'm not saying we do this, right? I think that's the more than likely, but I don't know. But it's just saying for right now, market's accepting lower prices. Okay, so I just wanted to make sure that I'm very clear on how volume profile, this composite profile here, has now moved value lower. Very important. Okay, price doesn't mean much. The value is king. Okay, so let's go to the NASDAQ. It's going to be a similar story. Okay, it's going to be a similar story. So the NASDAQ, let me just move over to there. Let's look at that. Okay, so as far as the NASDAQ goes, okay, same thing, right? Let's look at what I said yesterday. Here was the gap from the overnight. What did we do? We filled the gap, couldn't go far into range at all, sold off, closed here. Okay, similar to what I just said. Okay, I'm not going to rehash the same things, but basically meaning sellers are here. Okay, sellers are here, accepting value lower. Now, in the NASDAQ, we haven't quite moved value lower, but we most likely will. Okay, because this is pushing out here. We most likely will move value for the week here today. That's what I see happening, which would just cause, more acceptance lower. Okay, market's telling us lower prices are accepted right now. Okay, that's what I said earlier. Okay, the only thing I'm going to touch on really quickly, a little nuance about the market profile, is the single prints. That, they're poor structure as far as market profile. Okay, and they're here. Every one of these white boxes and highlighted areas of white are single prints. And that's just straight sellings, emotional selling, emotional selling, emotional selling, which don't sometimes, if you're selling, they don't have much resistance there. Okay, so those are just areas, an area. These areas are areas that are poor structure that could, if we ever rally, could get cut through. And I'm not calling for that now. I'm just keeping that in mind. I'll revisit this probably if we do start to get turn bullish again. These are areas that could get ripped right back up. Just pointing that out. Little side note. Okay. Anybody has any questions about that? Those single prints. I just love having that on the market profile. It shows you that right away. It's pretty cool. So let's go into, that's enough of that. Okay. Now I can go into what just happened. Okay, I'm sorry, I don't think I did that in the ES, but we'll do that in the NASDAQ because it's very similar. So look what happened in the overnight. Okay, we opened here and we're pretty much 100% net long. So everybody in the overnight's long. Okay, and we got volume here and volume here, like a double distribution. Okay, so what I was thinking in the morning was if we kept the price here, I was getting ready to short to liquidate those longs. Now you see these longs that were here had poor location, and now they're getting the longs have been liquidated. So that trade is over. Longs are liquidated. Okay, so but there's still longs all here. Okay, that's just what the market profile, volume profile is showing me. We have everyone's long from overnight, but a lot of the froth has been taken off now. Okay, that would be a different story if we were still here. That would be a very nice short, but we're not. So I just wanted to point that out. I want to move over now to the 60-minute futures charts. Just give me one sec here while I pull them up. All right, let's go over to the 60 minutes futures charts. Ready? All right. So, got a couple key levels here for everyone. And what I'm seeing as far as candlesticks, right? So we got a couple key levels here. All right. As far as resistance, okay. And one level I want to talk about, I didn't talk about. I talked about the 41.22 level was the monster level of the most traded price of the year, right? And we broke that. However, there was a key support level I didn't talk about, which was 40.81 in the ES, which is also broken. That was a very key support level. All right. So now we're holding below it. That's very key. We're accepting prices below that. Okay. Not only 41.22 that I always talk about, the 40.81. So that's a key level for me to say if we go above this, then all right, maybe we hang back over here again if we accept it. But I don't expect that, but that's just kind of like a line in the sand a little bit for me. Okay. So now as far as the ES goes, we have, I'm going to label off the resistance level. We have 40.71.75. We have a double top there. Okay. That is a key resistance level we couldn't get over in the overnight. Okay. I marked a little demand zone here that I'm not putting too much weight into it, but it is one. It's where the kind of move started from. Just pointing that out. Now we have another key support level, 40.27. And the key support still from lower movement is 40.15.25. Okay. I don't see as much as in patterns today. Okay, I'm not really looking into a pattern per se, but we did double top here. So let's just look at, I mean, there's not much to say after that. I'll get into more granular stuff on the market profile chart, but let's move on to NASDAQ. So NASDAQ, we have a key resistance level of 126.58. Okay, it's kind of similar to the other level in the ES. Now we have some support levels, 125.28 and 124.84, 124.84, and then another two levels that were there yesterday, 124.33 and 124.06. Okay, there's a lot of strong support levels there that if broken, you're going to get some nice down move. The 124.06 is the bottom of that supports, and that could make farther movement happen. I'm not calling that for that today. I'm just giving you guys a level. Patterns, I don't see much besides a double top. So I'm going to move now into the market profile, the zoomed in market profile chart. Just give me 1 second. Actually, I'm going to look into the show you guys the relative volume right now. Look, ES is about 126%. That's great volume. NASDAQ's 123% over the normal volume at this period. And the crude is like looking real good, 155%. So that's great. That's great for traders. Okay, that's great volumes. Big ranges in the overnight. That all leads to volatility. Okay, which is great for just trading. Alrighty. Let's look into the market profile charts that I didn't show yesterday. I'm sorry about that, but we're going to show them today. Okay, so let's move over to the ES. Give me 1 second here where I get my marker. Alrighty. So here's what I'm seeing for today. Okay. So obviously we spoke about before, we gapped higher. We were gapping higher. We couldn't get any farther movement into range. And like I said, 4081 is a real key marker for me. So we couldn't get to that level. And now we're selling off. These guys are getting liquidated. That's why price is here. Okay. So that's what's going on. Now, as far as what I could see today, okay, is what I could see today is probably balance, okay? But how that's going to work, all right? So I'm going to give you kind of my balance scenario, okay? Because there's a couple key levels here, okay? So what I can see happening is, now just to point that out too, this 40.59.50 now is the most traded price of the week. Just to keep that in mind, okay? But so besides that, let's look at what could happen. So let's go for my balance scenario, all right, which I think is the most likely. Price is here right now, about 40.50, okay, 44, call it 40.49, whatever. What I think happens is we push up, get hit with some selling. Now come down here. And now this purple little box is the most traded price from yesterday. Okay. And it's the overnight lows. Now I said before, everybody overnight is long. Still the case. And there could be longs holding from yesterday at the most traded price. So what I can see happening is us coming down to 40.27, the key level, getting some support, breaking it, going down to 40.15, having some support, and then hitting demand zone, and we pop back up. And I say we balance. Okay, that's scenario one of, I think it's just balance overall. Okay, overall, because right now we got a range from here to here. Okay, that's very important. Okay, now the next scenario, that's the most likely what I see. Okay, the next scenario that I can see is, let's see here, let's go for a different color. Now, I would say not a bull scenario, but it could possibly be. We open, we come down to here, can't break it, and then we find some buyers, balance around this most traded price, take out the overnight highs, go up to 40.81, find resistance, and we go right back here to 40.59 in balance. Now that's more of a bull balance scenario, okay? Because my overall thesis is balance to lower and not we're gonna go high. So that's what I would see if that happened, okay? And then if we're gonna go for a little bit of a bearish scenario, okay, I could see us moving higher to 49.59, finding some resistance, coming down to the most traded price of yesterday, breaking the 40.27 level, coming down, finding some support, breaking the 415 level, and go deep into the the demand zone here, around maybe 4,000. 4,000 is a psychological level, and we pop back up and balance. Okay, so notice all leave to balance is my scenarios, but that could make a move higher or lower. Okay, because remember, we're in between the 50-day and 200-day moving average right now. It's going to cause like a ping pong kind of action right now. So as far as the NASDAQ goes, similar scenario. It doesn't have this quite as clean a setup as this overnight lows, but it would do a similar scenario here. So this just will look the same. So I'll go with kind of the first scenario I'm saying is we push higher. Now the most traded price of the NASDAQ is here, about 125.60. I think we can go under that, come back here, rip back down here, take out the overnight lows, go to yesterday's lows of 124.48, and I think we get bought up, and I think we come into we come into balance here. All right, that's what I believe will happen in the NASDAQ. We're in a sell the rip environment. Okay, that's what you got to remember. And we're balancing now. We're accepting these lower prices, and I'm also expecting value to come lower today into the NASDAQ, accepting these lower prices. It's going to happen. Okay, and now you could even see now we're in the middle of yesterday's range. We're right here. That's just another key of balance. All right, now we're right back in range. You know, the move higher, okay, we did it, but now we're back. So there's more longs to liquidate to go to the other end of balance to find buyers. Okay, that's basically how the market works. So hopefully everybody got something out of what I'm saying. And I wish you guys good luck today trading. And if you guys could comment or subscribe, give me a like, that'd be great. And I wish everyone good luck today in trading. Let's make some money.